Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as architects, the floor plan becomes the starting point of our design. How we shape the spaces from two-dimensional to three-dimensional experience. So that's the time that we're usually given the freedom and empowered to shape the spaces, the lives and destinies of people using our buildings, our architectural masterpieces. So why stop at twin towers when you can do triple towers, for example? But of course, as always, the client or the QS will always advise us, Mr. Architect, please pull back. We cannot afford the GFA. So our next speaker will be talking again about floor finishes in construction. So selecting the right floor finishes for our projects will assure the architects can sleep well at night, knowing that it can meet its required function, perform well, and prevent unnecessary defects. So to get together to share with us today is architect THANG, BOON, director of NVT Architects and Berhad. So I'm just going to go a bit about his background. Okay, architect Steven is an architect registered with Lembaga Architect Malaysia since 1990. He's also registered as an interior designer. Steven was a council member of Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia from 2012 to 2022 and had chaired the Heritage and ADR committees. He is an active member of several technical committees and industry standards in the Department of Standards. He currently chairs the Technical Committee on Building and Civil Engineering and Technical Committee on Ceramic and Sanitary Ware. He is also currently active as a member of CIDB QLASIC CIS 7 Review and CIDB Form of Building Contract Review Committees. He has acted as expert witness in many court and arbitration cases. So maybe some juicy stories today. Steven has also managed many construction projects as an architect, including schools, colleges, institutions, housings, commercials, and factories in Malaysia, occasionally appointed as advisor to shopping complexes, resort, and commercial development. Besides being an architect and expert witness, he is a certified thermographer, building conservator, and building inspector. So without further ado, I would like to invite and to share his experience and have us rolling on the floor learning about floor finishes. Ladies and gentlemen, architect THANG.
Hello, good morning everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you for introduction. As I told some of you all, Mr. Lim has already mentioned a lot of things this morning, so I think I saved half an hour. I'd like to differ a little bit from our moderator. Just now he says that things start from your drawing. No, things start from your brief. If any of you have attended the contract practice course by PAM over Saturdays, like today we have another module. So the first module which I spoke on was brief. Brief is so important. Mr. Lim has spoken about it. You need to get to the bottom of it, the purpose of what you intend to design, the planning. So that brief will tell you. You have to establish the brief very detailed or as detailed as you can so that it assists you in your design development and your planning as well. Then from the brief, you put them into spaces, the material that's required so that it serves its purpose. Yes, flooring is only one component of the building. And every component we have seen a lot of problems, hence the dispute that is currently ongoing. But luckily, it's only a small percentage. So long you do your job, your project will not suffer to that. But the employer will suffer in silence, or the contractor will suffer in silence. Some architect also will suffer because they do extra job, not getting paid extra. So, and then they have to go to court some more to be grilled by the lawyers. How sad. So, to establish brief, the flooring, the wall, the M&E system, you all must be well versed with the M&E system as well, because you don't want the M&E to put all the blowers where they are so that you may have detrimental problems, which I will talk as I go on that problem as well. Because maybe I share with you now, where you put your blowers, say for example you are designing a museum. If the blower blows the cold chill air towards a showcase or the floor, and then by 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, they switch it off, that extremely cold spot will have condensation later on. So off, on. First, you have thermal stress on that surface. That's one. Two, you create condensation on the display or somewhere on the floor. There are cases where condominium especially, there's no ceiling because the floor is very low, 9 feet or so. And the tenant below is a Masale. He switched aircon 24 hours because he couldn't take our temperature. So he switched on 24 hours, set to 19, 18 degrees Celsius. So you feel the floor cold, the tenant above. Then you can feel the condensation appearing above, more above than below somehow. If you have tiles, that's where you're going to pop up because of thermal stress again, thermal shock. Thermal shock means cold, hot, in very short time. So it's thermal shock. Thermal shock causes stress on the mortar. So that's where your tiles can get hollow and then it will sometimes pop up. Okay, so that is one of the things. So when you're designing, that's why the aircon is very important. But mainly all these are done by contractors. They feel where the owners want them, they just put there without knowing the consequences that you will contribute later on. Okay, I will be generally talking about flooring today, but I will add in a few things off and on, things that I can relate that probably will be advantageous to you all, which I've gone through, just highlight to you all. So basically, after talking about types of floor, basically for us, we are more functional and aesthetic. Then materials, the fit of purpose, construction difficulties, the problems, and some towards the end, I'll just talk briefly on conservation of existing old floors and all that. Okay, I just put in what comes to my mind. Most of you all will probably know more than me. There's a lot of new materials that keep coming into the market. And being me, I'm just stuck with this generation of materials. So please bear with me. So you can see here, we have stone granite. Granite is a very hard stone, as you all know, mainly quartz and all that. I won't go specifically on the scientific name and all those things. So we all use a lot, but because of the cost, we have other alternatives instead of whole granite. But if you look at the old houses, especially in Penang and all that, they use a lot of granite floor finish, especially in the kitchen. So you see, those days, wow, even toilet also is granite. Yeah? So you look at those people are enjoying more life, better life than us today. Now, here, this is a very common area. And, this is a condominium walkway. The floor has all these things. Here, it's just as typical. You do all these things. This is indoor, this is outdoor. But indoor also have this problem. Now, as earlier, you all have been briefed and explained, one of the causes of this is vapor, water vapor, because of your substrate. Now, there is a construction technique and also the detailing. That's why we are very careful with our detailing. If we can solve on paper, the detailing is proper, this thing will not appear. But sometimes we just draw slab, sand, and grade. We miss out the waterproofing. If it's any, we put it, but outside we normally don't put waterproofing down. That is the problem we have. So don't stinge on that because of cost-cutting exercise and all that. This will happen. You cannot explain. Worse if it's inside. So we remove one panel, 2 panel, and you can feel, like Mr. Lim this morning said, you can feel the heat, actually. That is the humidity rising. So there's a lot. So you actually, what we do, we have to take it out all, put waterproofing, and reinstate again. So who's going to bear the cost? You know, then there's a fight between architect, contractor. The owner say, I don't care, you solve it for me. So then we do a forensic, we look at it, your drawings, you did not specify this. Then you said the contractor need to know, or the landscape architect need to know that there is a required this layer of waterproofing. So ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the issues that I always pick it up, very prevalent in the, and also the granite, a wrong specification, because of we want it to be look very Changi, very high class, we polish it outdoor. So you're asking for disaster. You can be sued for negligence. There's a shopping complex where the user fell and sued the complex, and she won. It's not much, it's magistrate court. So architect was asked to go to court, but the charge, the suit wasn't against the architect, fortunately, but it was against the shopping complex. So again, you have to be very careful with all these things. You know that a polished granite surface or marble will not work in outdoor because of safety concern. Yes, you have the very nice, clean, slick looking, but you're asking for trouble. Then this one is in the sauna. Ceramic tiles, granite tiles. Very nice, you know, everything. But you see that this, all the white thing coming up. So these are efflorescence, reaction with cement. And because of the heat and the water really fasten the reaction. So you get all this streak coming out. So the owner, this is a very high-end condominium. So they don't want to go in and say, look at this thing. Each time you go in, you can smell the very humidity, you know. So this is an issue. We went in and have a look. So they have to get the developer to change all this. So again, we specify this, we think we are good, but without knowing the consequences of the material that we specify can create these sort of problems. So we have to be very careful, you know. So this is an example which I draw, like anybody can get from Google, you know, internet is fantastic. So I tell you, there's always a layer of waterproofing. Water going into the slab, or water from the slab coming out. So like a swimming pool, if you're familiar, we have this water stop. Something like that is a barrier from either way, down or up. So marble also is a big problem. This is a so-called high-end condominium in Johor Bahru. Owner says, look, it's patchy, or the marble, different tone. The architect, developer said these are inherent problems. Not problem, inherent phenomena of this marble is like that. Because if you cut different sections of the marble, you get this. The owner could not accept. He just could not accept. So he lodged a suit. I think it was settled out of court. He got good discount from the developer, so he accepted it. But then, what if he doesn't? Then he will draw in all the architects and all those in again. So again, we ask ourselves as a designer, when we do specifications, is it proper or not? We think it's all right, but the purchaser paying $1 million for this condominium, he feels it's not right. He wants it to be a very consistent finish at all. Nothing of this sort of patches, this slab, this line, this style, is it? All like that. So again, after I think it's a quite reasonable or high compensation, I think he accepts that and said, go ahead with that. So this one here is a marble, and these are varicose natural veins. Again, it's an issue. Normally, we architects, we get a sample 300 by 300, or 600 by 600. 600 too heavy, like, to bring it around as a sample. So 300 by 300 would be a. But we only see one small part of the whole piece. So, but if you were to install, suddenly you got a 1.2 by 1.2 slab marbles come in, Then you see, oh my goodness, it's like crack. So what are you going to do? You already, the client confirmed, then he will say, look, you show me a 300 by 300. I didn't know it's going to be that bad, like my whole floor is cracking up like that, it's full of cracks. So how are you going to, you just stand there like, you just get them blasted by the owner. So my advice is this, I do that now, since I got so many court cases with these things, I bring my client to the marble factory or whatever you call it. This is part of it, this piece. So he said, I want this clean, but I don't want the, so luckily he was willing to pay the extra, because a lot of wastage to select the one, because he likes that, but I don't like the one. So he selected out, and about 50% of wastage, I think I'm just throwing a figure. So the cost, of course, it goes up, but he likes it. So you in your brief, you put it that way. You make sure he understands the marble. There also one vanity top marble. Only one fissure there, one line there. Big hoo-ha. You know that piece of, it's about, I think 1.8 or 2 meters long. It is about, 600 for a vanity top. Just because one corner has that, you have to change the whole piece. Because he wants a white one, and there's one fissure only there. You have to change the whole thing. So is it worth it or not? So where the arguments start to come in, how? You may fight and say, look, this is inherent character of the marbles like that. They say, no, it looks like it's cracked. So again, take them there and look and select the marble, rather than just ask the factory, cut all these things out, chamfer it all and bring it to the site, only that is not satisfied. The client will say, look, you should have advised me. Instead of showing me the sample, there's no fissure. Now there's a fissure, it looks like a crack. So who's going to bear the cost? If the client is okay, but his client not okay, you cut off from your fee. The contractor says, no, don't look at me. This one here, this marble here, black with a white. This is also another dangerous one. Whoever specified this, be careful. Because this feature sometimes can come off like a real crack, like a groove, like a crack. Now what the marble or granite supplier will do is that they'll fill up with epoxy, clay epoxy. So you thought it's part of the feature. You look closely, it's not. It's man-made to fill in the thing. So next time you look properly. So we saw this a lot. See this, all this? And the client was super upset. They were super upset after actually they don't know until I say so. Then I say, whoops, my big mouth. So you see these cracks, they are not cracked, they are fissure. So the owner is not very happy with this. So again, you have to be very careful when you specify. The sample could be just here, like for example, they give you the best sample, and then actual sample is like that. So the developer come in and see after it's finished already, they say, my goodness, my floor seems all cracked. So who's going to bear the cost? The marble, very expensive. Here's similar. See, patches different. These look like a replacement piece. The owner says it's a replacement piece. See, original must have cracked, then you replace it, now it's come this. So you can argue to cows come home, and still he says, it's an eyesore, I wanted it to be replaced. How are you going to be replaced? You replace, it will cut same thing. Different batch from the rock already. So these are issues that you need to put in your mind, sort it out, make the client is aware first thing first. That's why it's good to take them to the source of the stone where the stones are. They're cut into pieces and they put in a rack. Look through, flip through all those and see how percentage and all those things. It's a very common problem now, this thing. This one is in Penang. Just finished a case. I'm showing you a lot of this disputed case so that you understand things like that look so simple can actually trigger off a court case or arbitration. Not so arbitration, but more of a court case. So this one, the owner says it's not polished. So I say, look, it's like almost a mirror already, it's like a mirror reflection. The owner said, no. I say, look, so I took this photograph, showing the court, it's mirror. It's perfect. Even the joint, you don't see the line is so straight. Means the joint is perfect, almost perfect. Huh? By just looking at that, very straight line. So you see all these very straight lines, see? Means it's the joints are all very good. He's not satisfied. Then he says, oh, it's not polished enough. I say, look, it's a mirror already. I was the expert for this one. So that's my argument. What else could you go? The only problem I told the court is that it's the color. But these are standard condominium. You buy, and it was this color, and it was installed this color. You can't, of course, black looks, darker the marble looks more reflective, right, rather than light colors. So this is because this is really light color, so he find that it's not very reflective and all those things. So it's perception again. Huh? So understand the stones, polish, colors, and all that. Because why they choose, the designer and architect choose is light colors, because then your apartment looks big, your condominium looks big. That's the whole idea. If I put any darker color, it looks very small. Sandstone, limestone. Limestone we seldom, although we got plenty of limestone, but I haven't come near limestone stones as floor finish yet. Sandstone, yes. Again, went to court as one of the, I think. The challenge was owner against contractor. Contractor is a design build for a bungalow in Siratamas. And the sandstone was specified for outdoor, not inside, outdoor, just outside the main door, terrace, and all are sandstone, even the path sandstone. One time, the wife of the owner almost fell asleep. As you know, sandstones can be porous. So they always go to Hong Kong back. So they, one day, I think just the algae just built up, and she almost skid and fall. So she want to sue that as part of other things as well. I'll show you further. So we have to be very careful. It looks good, very rustic looking, but then we look at the safety point of view. So when you specify, you have to think of that as well. Not just being pretty, aesthetically pleasing, very nice, rustic, but then it's a potential safety issue. Think of that, huh? Terrazzo is coming back again. It's quite simple, very, very safe. Somehow it's very safe. Nobody has contested on terrazzo. So they just like the nostalgia feel of the terrazzo. So I've not come across any problem with terrazzo. So terrazzo tile, I just put in here just to let you know what about terrazzo. A lot of people doesn't know that it's still existing, that you can get terrazzo. So I always tell them, look, go to the graveyard, Chinese graveyard, plenty of terrazzo. Plenty there. The people who make terrazzo, all I will say that, not the sleeping one, but they're always there. So you can get them, those seafood are all there, all waiting for business. So they got plenty of samples there, terrazzo. So don't say don't have seafood. Go to Chinese cemetery, got. So these are sample of some things I pointed out on the selection of terrazzo. You can, I just pull it out from internet, so don't bother to take photograph. Go to internet, plenty of information nowadays. And you just have to read a lot, not just from one supplier or one fellow. Read from a few. Then you can put it together and then make your own assumption and decision, your final decision, how is best. They even give you pro and cons of the whole thing. But take with a bit of salt, because some of these are written by foreign people, suppliers and all that. So whether it's applicable to our climate, to our workmen also, you must understand that. I think Lim did talk about this morning, foreigner and local again. Different attitude towards construction. I just give you a little bit example. I was involved in Anna the King in year 2000 there in Clearwater, Ipoh. And we were doing the stupa. We were doing the stupa. So there was the carpenter did a small little thing coming out because the stupa is made of polystyrene, huge polystyrene in layers. So we are using a order to lift and put in the crane to put it one by one, stack it up. So there was just a small piece of wood sticking out. So with that, so I get my guy, say, why don't you saw it off? So happened there's a masale, supervision are done by Americans. Workers are basically British, Australian, and some American and local guys. Local are just labor. He said, no, you cannot do it because they are unionized. So he over talkie, he called one guy, he come with a motorbike, take 10 minutes to come. He just saw it off. Okay, done, mate. You know, that kind of problem we feel if the masale come and work here. So I just want to show you the kind of work that, especially research, you don't intrude into that. So, but here, we are all, our local guys, I think 90% are MacGyvers. I think that's the issue that Mr. Lim pointed out. I just shop saying MacGyvers. That this guy can do everything on. Even the specification is 5 mm, mix is like that. Left only about 200 square feet. He said, never mind, we thin it, add more water into it, or add more spirit to dilute it, more work, or extend the pot life. Pot life, he said, about 20 minutes, you know, upon mixing. After that, you're going to discard it and pour. So wasteful. So he added more solution in to dilute further. So he extend the pot life for another 20 minutes. So that's where the danger is. But we don't know. We are only architects. We won't know. That's the danger of it. Later on, you see patches and all those things. So that's why we need clerk of work, a clerk of work who understand to help you to see, make sure that they do it properly. Like cement also, concrete. They pour all ready mix. Then left about small 150, 2 more slabs to go. They run out. To order a mixer to come and pour is a waste. So they side mix. Now, beware, that side mix has no test cubes. So we don't know how good they are, we don't know. So always beware of these things. Slate is straightforward. The only thing of slate that you can flake off. Just like shale, it will flake off. And it's nice, but it's dangerous. You fall, you can hit yourself, you bruise yourself, skin can come off. That's the only thing you have to be careful. Otherwise, it's a very natural stone, it's always beautiful. Okay, now the big one is timber. Most of you are aware of timber. Timber also can become a problem, you know. Can be an area of big conflict or dispute or rise of this thing. So here is all the type of timber that Malaysia have, but I think the common one is about a handful only. The rest all because it's not commercially viable, so we do not go into that. They are all over. We use them: deck, interior, furnitures, and all. I just went to court for a condominium in Sri Thomas. And this guy, the owner, went and engaged design build for all his kitchen furnitures, his door, and his bedroom furnitures, as well as timber ceiling, all of teak. I didn't put a photograph, shoot, so that you can see the problem with it. The workmanship was very bad. Because he used, I think, roughly say, maybe a bit racist, he used Bangla workers to do. In around Muar and Batu Pahat, a lot of these factories, they use Bangla to do all this milling and all that. So they doesn't know how to use the blade. So they will over-sawn the bit. So you can see the traces of saw lines and all that. And the gap, because it's hardwood, so the gap were not very close, and behind there's a gap here, gap there, and the louvers on the panel, they were all different angles, some very small and all. So I went out to inspect. preparation for a suit, and I found that it almost totally can be thrown away. There was an ID who signed off, you know. So their fight is based on the ID's signature, that it was certified, acceptable. So we call the ID, only to find that she is not a registered ID. So I said, bingo, good for us. So decision has not come out yet. So I explained to the judge, I said, look, TIG is like a Mercedes. When you buy a Mercedes, expect the quality that comes with Mercedes. Here you are getting a product, neither even to Proton standard, you know, but you pay a fee of a Mercedes. This is what I tell the judge, so that the judge is quite aware. She's quite aware what is TIG. So it's good for us. So we are still waiting for the decision from the court. So if you use Zhengal, this is how they saw the timber if it goes in the mill. I wonder how many of you are involved where you had to buy logs to specific species of log trees, so that I was involved in one bungalow many years ago in 1990s in Ulu Langat bungalow. We choose one particular wood that is not so marketable, available, tembusu. We select tembusu because it was very consistent, golden yellow, those chopping board tembusu. So very consistent. And in my tender, the contractor who wants to get the job must go and find the source of this tembusu, because it's not off-the-shelf thing. So one contractor successfully came back and said, look, I have a source in Pahang, one whole area. I can get so many tons of this. So we gave him the contract to do the bungalow. And he chopped all the wood bring by timber, the lorry, all to the sawmill in Kepong. That time Kepong plenty of sawmill. So they had to close the sawmill, and they had to mill this tembusu all the weekend, because the dust is very itchy. So they close it and do it over the weekend. Then he was take photograph of the lorries, you know, all the tembusu. Problem with tembusu, why it's not commercially viable? Because it has a big core hollow inside the trunk. So the yield from each trunk is very low. So that he underestimated. So he had to go and source again more of this. So we were looking at something like only 70-75% of the timber he can use. The rest are all hollow core. So again, know your material. We learn it our hard way, like, you know. But we had a good client who understands this because he wants it that way. Because originally we want to use Zhengal. Either we source for old Zhengal, which is air dry, but to get that is quite difficult for the amount we want. So then the option is to get the younger Zhengal from Indonesia. Now the problem is Zhengal that it sort of drips. There's all this drip, when it's not dry properly, it will drip. So we drip with all these black spots. So that's why we then decided to use tembusu instead of Zhengal. So this is the same project that was we are being sued by the owner because we used Zhengal. The original specs was composite deck. So the developer, by good, being a guy who he said, look, I give you Zhengal instead of, and he got sued for that, you know. He got sued for that, you know. So I got to go to the court, this in Penang, and tell the High Court judge, say, look, I'm giving you something better than a composite, something fake. I give you original. Why you prefer fake than original? So I had to tell the court the pros and cons of the fake one and the original. Because he paint, so because it's so hard, it can peel off very easily after a while. So he feel like, oh, you know, so ugly looking, you know. But the composite is very uniform. So next time, don't paint. Live with this. Be good, you kena kau. You see red, all this, this is tembusu. Very crazy. So timber of hard, it's all timber strips. So we use this, depend on what kind of wood you want. You specify clear, make sure, and also what the varnish, what kind of varnish you want to specify. Make sure that it's subject, like this is a restaurant, so there'll be a lot of heavy traffic, scratches, it's going to be a lot of scratches on the floor, even the chair moving in and out will scratch the floor. So understand the kind of the paint, you're going to paint a coat over it. Make sure it's, at least it stands some kind of abrasion and all that. So the Central Malaysia has this, the timber board has all very extensive data of all the timber. You can go there and get all those information if you want. So they have a lot of information. So the other thing is that our detailing will come to floor. These are timber strip, and you see how we finish with the skirting. It's not crooked, it's straight. It's only this screen is crooked. So actually it's very straight. Don't be fooled by the screen. PAM should get a better screen than this. Okay, so do you see this thing here? Whether it's workmanship or it's a problem with our detailing. At a glance, first thing first, we whack the contractor already. We say, you should know how to finish it and all these things. But what the thing was, the detailing shows this thing stop short of the wall because the architect allow for tolerance for timber to expand. But he forgot timber also can kechut. So the thing come out already. The contractor just followed the drawing, allowed the 1/4 inch. But the timber, this one was too small, too thin. So you see that the edge come out already. It shrink. He anticipated to expand the timber, but he didn't. He gone the other way instead. So this was exposed. So you have this issue already. So again, careful with detailing and all that. Make sure you know. Okay, then we go to engineered wood. Now it's a thing. Flooring also engineered. Now we're coming with beams, timber beams also. Engineered beams. All these are not new technology. It's just coming in here now. But this floor are quite simple. Glue, and they're very strong. So they themselves is not an issue. It's only the type of timber that we've been used. It's very seldom is an issue. The issue is the installation, the detailing again. If you don't know, the supplier do his installation or supply install, you have a lot of problem. You walk on it, you have this very soft, springy look. Now, then the owner said, macam ini mana boleh? A problem again. Then you have 400 units, condominium, high-end. And these people tell the neighbor, oh yeah, then the community get bigger and bigger and bigger. The swimming pool, they talk about it. The car park, they talk about it. So 200 people want to sue you already. From one unit, end up about 200 units want to sue you because of this. So how are you going to solve this thing? Basically, actually, money talk. So painful it is. The developer pay a little money to make them satisfied. I say, okay, never mind, you pay me. They get like discount. So they say, I can bear with it. Because the joists are a bit far. The joist should be nearer, but the joist was just slightly off only. So you get the spring, and there's no infill between. So that's the issue. So again here, see these are joists. So it depends how far. These are quite big and thick, so you don't have to, not so bad. Those are thin one are the issue. The thin one, because they have they flex easier. The thicker one are not so easy to flex. Okay. So do wisely. So gotta make sure that you see the problem. Again, I quote Mr. Lim again. He came up too many things already. The developer will buy the material. He thought it's cheaper. So he got his friend, mahjong friend, to go install for him. Because his mahjong friend said, I can do it easily at half the price. So these people do it. And then why half the price? It's joist. He's safe on the joist. So this is a problem. And then this level was never level. He hit it on the bare concrete. There's no screed. to level it. So that's why the timber and the floor is already timbul, certain area. So you walk on the timbul area, I think of soft lah. So that's the issue. After we open up, say, alamak, macam tu boleh. Okay, then the other type of thing is miscellaneous flooring, other type, sports floor. You're aware, some of you have done sports hall. Not only this rubberized, but also the engineer floor are also sports floor, where they have a layer of neoprene or something else like that to soften the jump and fall. Very easy. This is the composite decking. Now you know this place, right? We went to do the inspection together. Yeah, she's a very fierce lady. So now composite has also one issue, which is consistent. Even I went to see other places, not just this property. The edge, especially when you do a diagonal cut, this part here, when it's diagonal cut, this part will, because it's composite, so with heat, it will just rise up like that. And it's pointed, you know, and you have children running around. So he's asking for a problem. The Masara, there's one, was like that. So we tell the MC who employed us, better do something about that. So, because it was cut, it would like a fish bone or like that, herring bone, cut like that. So the edge were all very sharp. And these are not wood, these are composite material, super sharp. And swimming pool, you wear slippers or barefoot. So you can imagine you actually kick into it. So be wary of these things when you do. Nice to look at, you know, but these things can happen. So this one here, this is electrical outlet. You see, things snap already. Because this composite may not have a good tensile strength. Timber has very good tensile strength, so you can flex. But this one, after a while in the sun, it may not flex so well. It's gone crispy lah, you say lah. So you pop, sedang. So this is the issue, okay? So the next one is a dirty word and bamboo. So so we have this before. I think some of you still use it. One time during the 80s, 90s, there's a flooring that is prevalent. I can't remember the name, using cork. So still, some people still use it. I'm not sure whether Malaysia will use it a lot or not. I've moved away from cork now, so some laughing at the word. So I prefer bamboo now. But bamboo also has a problem itself also. It's a manufacturing process. Because bamboo are short and they glue it, finger joints and all that, they glue together to make it a plank or something like that. But if the glue is not good, it will delaminate and fall apart. So again, you have to see the circumstances. When there's a lot of moisture coming in, it will suffer for those with a finger joint. So this is these are all finger joint here. So no way, you see. So you can come off easily, but the texture is very nice. Some people like it. I personally not very sure about whether I should use this in my house. No, but then some clients like it, you know. So it's again, that's why in the brief you quickly come up with all this to ask your client. I'm going to propose this. You have any objection? Since I study your type, you like bamboo, you know, nature, so I propose this. Get a sample to satisfy that he's right, you know, photograph and all. So if he's okay, sign off. So no quarrel later. Why the kind of bamboo you give it to me like that one? I thought it was like that, isn't like that. That's finishes, the floor is always this problem. Tell you. Never satisfy some client. Wall. They must be super flat wall. Impossible when you don't have plaster finish. It's impossible. Even you scheme it also, it's quite impossible to have a super flat wall. Because plaster itself is cement, water, and dehydrated. Drying is based on dehydration. So rate of dehydration is different from spots. This one may dry faster than certain area. So you get this undulating. Even your best plasterer you do perfect. The ruler show perfect. When it's fully dry, like that. I did a simple evaluation myself in one of the units of the apartment. I got myself, we call it data loggers, if you are aware of that. So I put data loggers in a few areas. I think I put 3 different areas of the apartment while undergoing construction till finish. I go on. Earlier, Mr. Lim talked about thermodynamics. Temperature, RHS goes up, temperature goes up. It is inverse. It is inverse. You can see the graph. After 2 weeks of logging, I put in the computer, you can whip up the graph. You can see that. I didn't show it, but it's an inverse. So I use that to study why your plastering or your screed in the floor. You use a steel trowel, the guy used an aluminum 1.2, trowel it, so nice, Then after that, first he used too much water. So when the dehydration rate is different, then you become like that. Double lari, when you see wet, you say die already. Sure die one. Yeah? So these are bamboo. But I like the bamboo because of the unique of the, some like, you put all the bamboo chopstick together, like that. So there are ways of installation, nail or glue down. So understand them. Why nail, why glue? Again, substrate. Is your substrate that good, not that to do glue? If not good, you may need to nail it. So it's firm. If it's full smooth, you can glue it, no problem. Faster also. Okay, this is a cement screed. There's one brand or 2 brands in the market that can do this very well, but they are very super expensive. So a lot of us use bare concrete finish or just screed, simple screed, and looks good. While it's good, it looks good. So you can expect all this hairline come out later, spider web here, Spidey was here, Spidey was there, everywhere. Then your client look at you. Then you look at the contractor. Who's right, who's wrong? So in our evaluation as a building inspector, and we go to court case, I told some of the people already, this is secret, we keep to ourselves, but I don't mind sharing with you once you come today. 3 things we look at when we determine. 1, workmanship. Can we prove it's a workmanship thing or not? 2nd, design consideration. I mean, not just flaw, overall, whether it's a design fault or not. The 3rd is what? Specification. These 3, you breach one of these, we hit you already. If it's workmanship, we hit the contractor. Which I'm talking from the side of the owner, not from the contractor. So remember this string. When you go and supervise your job, remember these 3 things. If it's workmanship, whack the contractor quickly before they whack you. If it's design, you better keep quiet. Specification, also keep quiet. Push the blame to the contractor. You never tell me. You are the master, the builder is a master. You should advise me. I didn't know how to draw only. So you must know how to tai chi. Otherwise you're in trouble. So remember, you all when you go to site, your work, remember these 3 things. This is the current, don't mind sharing, but this is the current method that we will fight in court. The lawyers are very well versed with these 3 things, because some of them have won based on these 3 items. So to them, you said, I got you already. Architect, contractor, either one. These 3 things, tak boleh lari. Because it's fact, you can see the defects. So it's just giving to who only, that's all. The architect, poor fellow. Luckily, we are all poor fellow. So no point hitting us. No money to gain. Then, next is contractor. Contractor ada wang. So remember, guys, Be wary of these things. This is how we evaluate. This is how we fight. We can be merciless, but please understand, it's part of my job. I've faced architects in the court, and I also represented architects in the court. So it goes both ways. I'm not biased. I got hit by my own colleagues, some architects. Stephen, why are you taking a case against an architect? I said, the architect make it wrong. Why should I keep quiet about it? I sweep under the carpet. And he's very arrogant also. That make me boil. So don't go become like that, lah. Huh? No good, lah. Your life shorter also. So Mr. Lim, this is one I've been telling you about, the car park. This is the driveway. See the car park, these patches. It's in one high-end condominium. I scanned it with a thermal camera. I could not detect any moisture or any temperature differences. That means it's consistent temperature. So it cannot be moisture. I cannot wash it off. And yet, you see, this thing cannot stick. That means it had to be an oil base. So anyway, I give new job to Mr. Lim to go and have a look. Ask them to call Mr. Lim to see how to solve this. Because they pay millions of the condominium, every day they come with the Porsche, they see like that. Very, very angry, you know. They say, Stephen, I'm very angry, I pay so much, every day I see like that, like low-cost house, they are better than my apartment. So this is the sentiment they have actually. So they're going to sue the developer. So this is ongoing. I just want to show you. So as architect, I try to isolate the architect, insulate lah, not to pull him in, if I can. I said, why you sue architect? No money one. Developer plenty of money. Better go for after developer. I said, you don't sue architect. The architect can be friendly also. Not the hostile witness, you know. You know what's hostile witness? Normal witness and hostile witness. Hostile witness means a witness that suddenly turn around and bite you one, you know. So anybody ask him, you agree? Agree. You agree? Agree. Semua pun agree, you know. Rightly or wrongly, so agree. Jalan already like that. So it's called a hostile. Yeah. I don't need to do core test. Okay, don't be arrogant. Okay, because the strength is that there's no cracks whatsoever. So strength is never an issue. I don't think it's a concrete, but I'm more concerned is that it was during construction, the contractor didn't do proper protective. So diesel or whatever oil, engine oil would have gone in, and they didn't bother to clean it up. Towards the end, then after they sweep off the dirt, then they, oops, you know, it's too much damage already. Inside, so it's only how deep it's been absorbed in it. Yeah. Yeah, but I leave it to them first, because my inspection is, we call it non-destructive. It's a NDT, non-destructive test. So, but I can recommend it lah. So I push it to experts like Mr. Lim. Like I told them to contact him to go and have a look at it and see, because I just saw what he presented, that he can actually scratch off the top layer to just a quick, to see. It's more than this, most car park also like that. Yeah, it's quite sizable lah. So I'll leave it to the experts to actually. So this is what I found, it's not water. At first I thought it was water, it wasn't. Lower and also I think middle, I can't remember. There are 4 basement level. So anyway, you ask them to contact you. Huh? Actually, it's one half is open. One side is open, so there's enough natural ventilation. I don't feel any very humid, the kind. Doesn't. So these look like a road, but concrete. You know, remember that I said the cement screed. So this thing can happen suddenly. So how are you going to repair? You cannot, you know, a lot of people, oh, you cut a V, you patch it back. Cannot lie, you still see the scar there, you know. Huh? Just like scar face. You can see the scar no matter how you do it. So how the best to do it is to use deploy, one of those methods this morning we talk about, is to redo it again to cover it. But before you do that, you have to stabilize, because you don't know whether it's sudah putus or not. It's only surface 1 inch, or you've gone through the whole slab, it's already broken already. You don't know the depth. So you get especially, you say, 1 inch saja. When they start to do, oi, sudah patah lah. Besi pun boleh nampak. So how? So very, very careful on these things. You know, spider crack, because of again, these are all probably due to thermal shock. We call thermal shock because of expansion and contraction, sudden change in temperature or material. All these are pressures, stretching or pushing. Yeah. So there's another one. This one I think similar to what you've discovered this morning. I didn't steal your photograph. So it was already like that. So I went to see, again car park. And this is very common, pitting. For, you see all this grazing, and these are pitting. Pitting means it pop up. Cement screed. And I did a school, inspection of school, and the school corridor, big, almost 200 mm in diameter. And the depth is about 50 already. It's gone that bad. And it's a school. Children, they like running. They like running. So I asked them to quickly fill it up. Temporarily use a cement screed or cement mix, just fill it up first. Then you get patches like leopard. The whole corridor like leopard. So it's a design by itself. So don't worry. You need to hack some more so it looks consistent. So this is very prevailing. Especially, I find a lot of escape staircase in landing, because we're fond of using cement screed for all the staircases, escape. And when these things are quite big grazing, the hollow already, anytime you can pop out. During emergency, could you imagine if you run and this thing just pop out, you slide. It just means safety to save people, you injure people. And then you create a stampede. So the flow. So this is one of the biggest issue in a lot of condominium is this cement screed in the staircase, because we use cement screed for all staircase. So how this come about? You all like to know, right? This is my observation. First, they finish the bare concrete. Then they pour in cement screed straight away, and then trowel, sprinkle some cement powder, and then just trowel it, still trowel. That's it. Now, what happened was, when they pour this cement onto the bare concrete, earlier, remember, here they were saying, the concrete, depending on the grade, then it can be very porous. The water is absorbed from the cement into the concrete. So the mix has already been breached already. Breached means it didn't follow specification already. Because the amount of water is supposed to be 135, for example, the part of water will be absorbed in already. So that will suffer. That's why you see this pitting. Next time you see all the passe inside one. Most likely it's passe. Because the water has already absorbed into the concrete. So actually what they should do is clean up all these places before they pour the cement screed and wet it. And wet it. Then you pour in. So you equalize the amount of water to be sucked. Because you already premeditated the problem. They do it in those days. That's why the olden days the screed is so good. They do that. Nowadays, we don't. Also, partially we blame, to me, I've been telling the radar guys, you 400 to 500 units or 600 units of condominium in 36 months, you want to die. 1980s, when SPA comes out, also 36 months. Now, 40 years over, still 36 months, but the units 3 times more. How? Either you do it phase, but you cannot. 36 months is impossible. That's why all the defects coming out. You are trying to beat the deadline to deliver. And the number of people, you have few gangs, but some gangs you just simply have to take them in just to satisfy and complete in time. Your normal gang of workers you can trust, but the new gang is difficult, whether they can perform, but you got no choice. Better too evil to get somebody just to finish it and hand over and pray. Nothing happened. Okay. Stamping, not much problem. Only a few I noticed crack because of the no expansion joint, or the expansion joint wasn't done properly, so they have crack. Other than that, it's very no problem. But I've seen one case in Klang. They use 2 inches only, concrete. 2 inches, 50 mm. So how? Sure crack. I don't know these people. Vinyl is common. Vinyl sheet, you use a lot of this in tile or in roll. So, but because they are made of PVC, PVC is petrochemical. They also use acid in PVC. So that is why it can bend. Without acid, it becomes very rigid. That's why they ban PVC pipes from water supply, because it contains acid in it. It has less acid that it can brittle, break very easily. That's why it has this element of acid in it. So it can be brittle, or you can flex a little bit. You cannot bend all the way. So, but it's very, very nice. This roll form, in the hospital, they use a lot of vinyl floor. Carpet, no need to talk. Every one of you know what's carpet. I think you know better than me. I hardly use carpet. Because I'm asthmatic, so I don't use carpet. So pleasant. It's really good for sound, I hear, see. Talking about just now, I was going to make a comment. Mr. Lim talked about dusting, concrete dusting. This is a very funny thing. I was asked to inspect, give an advice. Why got problem, So I say, yeah, I'm an asthmatic. When I see this thing, I koya myself, I shiver. Because the concrete dust can promote your asthma. Nowadays, so everybody hey, yeah, please, concrete bare finish, very good, very nice. But I forgot the thing, if you don't treat it or seal it, this dust will fly every now and then. It's very new. So you're breathing this concrete dust. If people are like me, asthmatic, sure kena kau already. Go do work. But why would say, why you gila already? Come back like that. So be aware of that. The concrete, before they move in, make sure the concrete are well seasoned, so there's less dusting. Or I think you have a solution for that. Yeah, to coat is something that to help out. Carpet, you see, very imaginative, different type. Don't go for the cheapest. You have problem, then I will face you. The lawyer will have a good day. Linoleum, hardly used but still got people use linoleum. All houses in Kampong Baru, they use a lot, like over cement screed. They just put this, roll it. Kampong house used to roll it. Very simple, good and cheap. And you can change fashion every 3 years. Cheap, no issue. Okay, this is probably the last bit. How am I in time? Am I in time? It's over already. Almost up, okay. This is the last one. This is the biggest issue, ceramic tiles. Big issue. Okay, I know a little bit more better than you guys because I sit as a chair for DC, ceramic and sanitary ware in DSM. So I have all the stakeholders in front of me. So they share their grievances and what problems and all that, from the manufacturer, the FMM, to the testing body, to us as user, So we share, we talk about, they grill each other, So we are being architect, we represent PAM. We say, hold on. For me, I just press the problem to you guys and say, we are very simple, architect very simple. We specify, yes, design, yes, but laying is your. Because there are standards, Malaysian ISO standard, on materials, on this, I think there are 8 or 9, 14 parts on each type of ceramic tiles in the testing, body absorption, the slip test and all that. So all these are grouped together, the glass tile, cement tile, marble tile, mosaic tile, and some more, I guess you're better than me, like I said, I'm old school. So here, see, like I said earlier, very nice polishing and all this. So these are mosaic. If you look at old house, the mosaic is very beautifully laid, flat, straight line. Now they cannot do it. I don't know why. You cannot know. You just see. I'm so scared to specify mosaic anyhow. If you go to Ipoh, this building, Jalan building, there's a column. The mosaic is twisting down. It's by Iverson, architect Iverson. You look at the workmanship. I think our contractor see me faint there. No way they can do that, but last time people can do. They take the time to do. They have the passion. Not like us here, Bangla, setengah hari boleh siap lah. Then they go on to another one. No joke, last time, before a lot of Bangla, 90s was a lot of Indonesian. I said, how you drew the party wall, so straight, where's your tali? Oh, tak payah tali, tengok boleh already, he said. I said, where can? So the supervisor said, hey, you taruh tali lah. So next day I came back, got tali. Ada guna tali, you suruh saya taruh lah. Just for show to be, please me, take a tali. They still use an eye like that. So I still don't know how to explain. And then there's another case. One time I see a lot of white powder on the side. I said, why all this white powder? What are these? You're drug addicts, Your cocaine just don't simply throw so much, That is actually soap powder. Those days in the 90s, soap powder. Then I said, why you use soap powder? I said, as a plasticizer. So it's easy to mortar. You add that soap into it, easy to do mortar. I said, you buy from Sika, those plasticizer, one whole can, how much you need? Very cheap. They said, no lah, I was a 30-year-old architect telling a 50-year-old contractor how to, what the next word lah. Then he said that, you all, we eat more than what that you are, young man, you tell us what to do. Then I said, all the while nobody tell you to do what you're doing a wrong thing, So I said, don't look at us young, I said. Soap is organic, I said. So how can you, it's only a temporary thing that make it plastic. I tell you, those days when it was moving, the things, technology started to move. Hard time I tried to teach them, the old people. So, so tiles got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but actually in Malaysia there's only 2 types, grade A and B, right? Normally we use A, B are rejects. Either they got little pimples on it or just some imperfection on the square, So they can buy those cheaply from the factory. You can't buy them from shop. You want a B grade, they sell you. But expect spots and all that. So let's go to the next slide. So we are governed by this. The all important is this one here. Schedule 4 of the CIDB is listed there, ceramic tiles. So all tiles must be, I think I've said a few times, I keep reminding you all, all tiles must be certified, must be approved and meet the standards to Schedule 4. It is a, what you call it, a control item, so to speak. Just like your cooking oil, it's control item. So any tiles that comes in from overseas, they must send it for testing first, get the serial approved, then they can import in. So the only way you can see is behind the tiles, turn around. In this document, the standards, they have a description of what need to be printed, So it's a logo, year of manufacture, and country of manufacture. These are the 3 most important things. So you can source the company that make it, what year and where it comes from. Most important thing. So that's how violation can be quite serious. There are a lot of projects, especially design built by Chinese contractor. Any Chinese contractor here? No, quite safe to talk. Then they bring in their own tiles. This is prevalent. I've been to inspect. Once I found this, the lawyer so happy, Oh, thank you, Stephen. This is one big ticket I'm going to whack them on. Again, I say leave out the architect, please. This is design build. So, because you certify, they take the position that you certify. That means you agree to it. Even though it's just stage completion, there's no contractual. In this case, somebody's got design build. So, but he said you got your certified stage completion, which you accept it. That is their that's where the position they're coming in to hit. Once they can hit you, it means the certificate is null and void already. See how powerful not your certificate is. They must hit you. And you poor guy sitting on the stand there, shivering like hell, Because the lawyers are the good ones are really good, They know how to, macam ini, So, tembak you this way. Cannot, this way. They'll go around like the stray Indian against a wagon like that. Until they find one arrow they go through. That's where they start coming in already. So, what is the game they play? So just be honest with it, that's all. Don't assume, and don't take a stand as a witness. Don't assume. Just speak as it is so that you can always remember. Factual thing you can remember. Make up one, you forget it. Because after 10 minutes you come back again. Then now you say this, or why now you say this? Habis already. That's where they start grilling you already. Okay? So just say it as it is. No harm. They cannot do you anything. Wrong, say wrong lah. Wrong. Oh, sorry, I didn't see this way. That's it. Don't have to say, don't go defensive, You know it's not right. Don't what you call it? Assume. Never assume, Okay, so we are governed by this ISO international. So we are adoption of this one. So it's a Malaysian standard ISO, MS ISO, because it's adoption. So and then the adoption, this one is reflected in here. So every task that company must satisfy what's in this document. Okay. So grouting is an issue. It's always an issue. Some staining, and this one is prevalent. 100% rejection. 27-story or 25-story average, 3 blocks. Every single refused room was rejected. Because 80% of the refused room has this issue. Some even worse gone. So what's the issue? Because if you look properly, sometimes I see too smooth. The wall is too smooth. Like just now earlier we talked about, had to be rough. He screed it. Stupid bugger doesn't know, go screed it. Then he go and hack a few holes, assuming that the whole mortar will stick to it. That's the problem. Without knowing, the contractor doesn't know his work. Now you got job, I think. Ask them to put the rough one. Then they can put anchor the mortar better. Otherwise you just keep peeling. No way you can do it. Because it's too smooth. Some screed and then re-screed again. Because to make a thickness, the wall is off the line already. Okay? So conservation. How much time I have? Okay, time's up already. Conservation, very quick. I run. Conservation tiles are very finishes. I won't say lah. Very beautiful actually, that's why I use it. This is not yours. Okay, these tiles are very old and they have scratches and all those things. But because of the architectural feel, you call it UOV, that is, has bearing, so we maintain it as best as we can. We need to replace it if it's gone beyond the salvation already. Then we replace it. Then you have to think carefully how to replace it. That you don't just arbitrarily take it out and throw away and replace it how. So this is a method of judgment, how to replace it. You need the worst case, because there are a lot of remedy work you can do. If it's hollow, you can always inject some chemical behind and let it bond. There are chemicals available now. I just found out in Architects. Could be very helpful. Haven't tried yet. Timber, old timber. These are all solid timber. So how you want to polish it or whatever you want to do, not polish it, sorry, coat it to make it, maintain it, or you splice it and replace those that's already unsafe timber. So you try to keep as much as you can. Find back the same species if you can. But having to say that, to match back this kind of imperfection is very, very tough. Because those days they use a hand to kiss off to make smooth, use a parang, those days. Now we just perfect, which is not what we want. Okay, a lot of old buildings are these clay tiles that easily break when you try to lift them up. So, but you can buy replacement. You can even manufacture them. So it's not an issue. The only conservation is that you need to record them, that's all. Do a mapping. That's why don't charge cheap. No? Do mapping and which tiles you're removing. So there's a record. For future, people say they know, hey, how come different? They look at the record. Oh, these are new, these are old. Conservation is about recording. Huh? You can use new material but record it down. Okay, these are some of the things. It's very long, so don't too worry about it. PAM is going to come up with a course rate, so sign up, pay money. PAM wants some money, you know. Okay, that's all. Time's up. Thank you for your time. I hope it's fruitful. And again, I think Mr. Lim, I think we need you more courses here. We need your sponsorship some more. You have not finished your task. You got another 4 hours to go. Thanks, Mr. Lim. Yeah. Thank you. There you go.
Okay, we have a Q&A session. So I would like to invite Architect Steven, also Mr. Lim, to get on the stage. So anybody who has a question, we can pass the mic to you. Ada apa-apa soalan? Probably on data centers, maybe because we had to quickly end, or probably a bit more on Architect Steven's experience as a building inspector. Any questions? Tak ada. Okay, just to highlight, we have just now the evaluation form kan. If you haven't managed to get the QR code, you can always fill up the form outside. And also don't forget to fill up your QR code before you leave. I have 1 or 2 questions for the speakers. Not too much. Okay. So for example, data centers or factories, for example, when you do one of your solutions to probably rectify flooring problems is to probably do the whole piece, the whole area. So how do you manage with the fact that it has to be non-stop production, or the machines have to run at all times?
Okay, we are facing that actually, this kind of issues on and off lah, honestly speaking, because the factory cannot stop entirely, right? So what we plan to do is usually talk to the production manager and find out a schedule first. Usually how many days. For example, now actually I'm doing Porsche, let's say in a Kulim site. They cannot stop, but they already tell me that in a Deepawali week, they have 1 week stop. So that 1 week stop, how many area that I can do without disturbing their current activity, then we will do that. One thing is we talk to the manufacturer when is the slot. The other thing is I can close partially. For example, I did also one jetty. Don't mention the name, but the jetty cannot stop one. So I have to close half. Then when I finish, I can sambong the other half. That's the things that we always plan together, then see how to actually do it in order to finish. Of course, like I say, new job is very fast. The only problem, always have a problem, is the refurbishment jobs. You have to plan together with the gang. Yeah. So nevertheless, that we also can help to solve this. Maybe the timing get to be longer. I hope that answered the questions. Okay.
Okay. Architect Steven, lately there's been a lot of independent building inspectors out in the market. So even architects sometimes do this as a part-time job. So most of the most of the time you see them marking stickers on the hollow tiles and all that. How effective are these for the homeowners? I mean, like in terms of, do they get back what they claim for? Is it effective?
Yes, there is some companies are doing that. They charge very cheap for condominium inspection, for example, a few $100, which most of the architect cannot really do it for that kind of cost. I mean, look at our time charge also, even 3-4 hours to go through also for the pittance, I think it doesn't worth our while. Now, there's two thoughts on this. First is that they are done not mainly just trained inspectors doing the report. So they just identify defects. That's good enough for new condo or build house buyers. Just satisfy them so they can register the defects within the defects liability period. Now, on our side, we go a bit further than that because when we do this inspection, we will be ready to go to court. Now, that's different. So the document that we prepare are much more information in it to support our argument why these things happening all that. Because that's why we charge a bit more or a lot more than those. So it's two different angles we're coming from. Like for me, I do in anticipation that they're going to go to court. So basically good about dispute and it takes some time. So in your how effective is it? The other side, I don't really bother with it actually. They are non-architects doing all this inspection. I do come about in my, sometimes in my cases, and I think I can easily challenge them because there are a lot of things they don't understand why these defects arises. For us, as architect, we are more learned in a way, so we can explain better why this thing happened and what are the remedial. To them, the remedial is very easy, scratch, paint back and all that, but they don't see the whole picture further than that. So I think there's a big difference between us and them in this inspection done by us and done by non-professional like us.
Any question? Ada? Tak ada? Okay, I got one question for Architect Steven too. You said just now about architects to be wary when they specify or whatever they design or selection of the materials. So there's also this thing called material approval form and also method of statement approvals. So what happens if the architect neglects or take it too lightly when they give approval to these materials or the methods? Would it also affect their own, I mean, if they get charged in court, for example, will it trigger, I mean, like, backfire on them?
The only thing they can hit us is basically negligence. Negligence only. The rest all are contractual. If it's contractual, it's contractual. But architects only can be sued for negligence. So, of course, there are misrepresentation and all that, but that's aside. So when you specify, you are the proposal as architect. That's why remember I said specification, design, and workmanship. So design is a specification, we also put partially. So we tell the client, this is what I have, the tile and blah, 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 all these things. So the client, as a lay person, they will assume, even they know, they will say they are lay. So you have to give the assumption that they are lay. You cannot say, oh, you are also involved in construction industry. No. If they go there, they say, I'm lay. I'm not a professional. I know a little bit, but I hire you for that purpose. You see that? So your argument is very weak. So when he signed that, doesn't mean that you resolve your responsibility. You still have the responsibility because you are the one who recommend that material. That means you have done enough or you are knowledgeable of that product. So if that product fails, then you have to take responsibility. Although the client has agreed to your proposal.
Hello. I just add on just now your questions. There's one also very important point, how we plan and manage to do all the repair. Don't be minded that when people pass us the repair job, they will have a very short time. So in this particular case, then what materials actually can also come into consider. For example, if we compare epoxy and also cementitious material, then I would definitely choose epoxy material because why? The curing is faster, the strength build up is faster. So imagine if I only have 7 days, I cannot use cementitious product in this particular case. We are not talking about money already, we are talking about performance already. Because in 17 times I will open back and then the forklift come in. So think about it, because if you choose the cheaper solution but you don't solve the problems. Also that is another consideration where they need the manufacturer to be involved in this particular case. Okay? Yeah.
I think to write on that, it's a very good point that brought up by Mr. Lim. I was involved in a few rectification work, for example, this shopping complex. Because remember I told you the pitting of the cement screed on the escape staircase, we had to redo again. Which I got to close down one fire escape. So you are actually violating already by just closing up one fire staircase. So you need to have another fire staircase nearby. So what are you going to do? But you have to do a proper staging to ensure that the fire safety integrity is still there. You don't shut down the whole staircase just so that you can do all this rectification work. So bear in mind, that always make sure, okay, I close this up, how long you're going to take, at the same score, what are you going to do in case there's a fire, where are these people going to run through? So all this has to be considered.
My name is Architect Alexander Paul. I actually have two questions. Question number one, when we spec the cell leveling compound or cell smoothing you mentioned just now, do it mean that our floor finish had to be flat floor standard?
That's it.
Is that correct?
That's your question, right?
Yeah.
Now remember my photo that I showed you. That kind of floor, remember the one leveling compound, that photo I asked, is terrible, right?
Yeah.
So if the floor doesn't have a reasonable flatness or levelness, when you go and specify, it's actually like Mr. Steven say we keep ourselves in the very deep shit already. People expectation is different. Now, leveling compound doesn't mean that once I apply, the floor straight away turn to very, very flat or very, very smooth. Remember, that's why I don't call it leveling compound, I call it smoothing compound. It's actually smoothen the floor. It doesn't mean that level. The level eventually will be provided by the concrete, what we call contour, itself. So reasonably flat have to be achieved first. If the floor that I went in, I discovered that, here patchy or here low spot, basically I need to repair it first prior to the application of the leveling compound. Things like that. Yes, you have to specify the
what
floor.
Is the standard of flat floor standard that you recommend? SR2?
Yes, okay. SR2 normally we are going to use it for such as resin flooring nowadays. Alright, we will advise architect to look into the SR2 for this kind of resin flooring. Reasonable, because factory-wise you cannot escape. You cannot be too wavy. And also don't forget this kind of resin flooring. Many cases is gloss. If you look at the gloss, what will you see? Very wavy effects. So SR2 generally we are happy, to be honest. But for normal kind of, let's say leveling compound, usually we are not talking about finishing, we are talking about underlayment. So underlayment to me, SR3 even is satisfied. Or normal, normal flatness control. In a small area, you have many furniture, basically you no need to be very, very flat. Or you don't have a, minimum is SR3. I don't put a specification for resilient flooring.
Okay.
Because resilient flooring, we are talking about carpet, tiles, timbers, all that. So we don't have a specific levelness.
SR3 is about 10 mm over 2 meters.
SR3, we are talking about 10 mm.
10 mm over 2 meters.
Yeah.
So it's not that flat.
Not that really.
Because
neat.
your film,
Yeah.
your compound film is very thin, right? It's about 2
Very
mm.
thin, about a minimum 3 mm.
Minimum 3 mm. Maximum?
Maximum you can go, there are different product categories. Some of the material they can go even 10 mm.
Because SR2 is about 5
5.
mm over 2 meters.
Yeah.
So if we are talking in that kind of, let's say we go for SR2. How thin how thick in fact your compound
Maximum like 5 mm, 3 to
5
5 mm.
3
You
to 5
control
mm.
between 3 to 5 will be very flat, very smooth.
very fat already.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. But normally, like I say, for interior, for these kind of places, you know, seminar rooms, exhibition hall or whatever, because you are laying other finishing on the surface, it's not necessarily carpet. You can't see, honestly speaking, because it's matte color. You can't see. You only can feel it. So nobody will really pay that attention. But factory-wise, it's different because it's fully a hair, you know, fully bonded system. Everything, if not flat or if not smooth, will affect the performance. The AGV, the robotic running on top. Just now I explained. So that one is all performance already. Whereas this is normal, you know, people walking, people don't really pay attention, you know what I mean. You still can have some tolerance.
Understand. Okay, I have question number 2. Because the topic here just now, supposed to be talking about data center. I actually come purposely because that 2 words. To be honest to you. The situation is like this. Nowadays, I know there's many data center in the town. They already, because they try to save money on the raised floor, they actually propose to be using the flat floor. There are many contracts that actually go silent on the finisher because flat floor actually is not the actual architecture finishes. As your presentation just now, the compound that actually the final compound that on the flat floor, it should be anti-static. And what if I just mentioned in the contract is only mentioned flat floor for data center? Do you think the design and build contractor liable to include the anti-static compound on the top? Because they already know actually it's data center.
Okay, first of all, I apologize for the topic first because I think data center itself is not really has a lot of selection on the flooring. Mainly is we are talking about all this resin flooring. But why my presentation also involve a lot of preparation, all that, because of I think that is more key components that you all have to be aware choosing the correct systems. Now back to the conductive. Today we call it conductive or ESD. Anti-static used to be an older name, right? But we talk about conductive or ESD, we are talking about resistivity. You know what is resistivity? How fast? Actually, the charge inside our body, we create the charge. For example, just now you see a person go into the knob, the doorknob, created the static, or I go to near Stephen, I can sometimes get shocked. That is 3,000 watt. So 3,000 watt actually is enough to damage a component. Or the data center equipments, you know, the data, the storage. So imagine if this charge doesn't discharge to the building, it's very dangerous. In the data center, they have many rooms or keeping all the data. The data can be, influenced by these statics. So that's why they need a conductive flooring. But inside the data center, there are many areas, Not always this. What you can see is maybe the data hall, where they keep the storage, the database, sensitive area. So in that particular case, they can be some thinking. If they want to install a raised floor, for example, then the flooring, the actual flooring below, you not necessarily to consider conductive or ESD. You get what I mean or not? Because you have storage the cable. So in that particular case, I can choose a very thin system. Just now I pass you through the epoxy. Enough. But if the floor, they doesn't have this raised floor, they are directly contact, then in that particular case, yes, we may consider a ESD solution already. So you have to ask the client, what is your design? Right? If they have a raised floor, I would say 90% they not need this kind of thing. So another consideration is where they keep the sensitive equipment rooms. I believe that they need a conductive systems. Whereas normal room like M&E room or whatever may not need. Okay? I hope I answered your questions.
I add on that because you touched on the design build contract. So if you did not specify in there, mention anything, then it's deemed that, I will read the contract as that the owner will get its specialist to do the flooring. You don't assume that design build will automatically put it in, unless you said the wording is very specific, that you design build, including total for, it's a total fit purpose. That means they must consider, to recommend what kind of system they're going to use. So normally dispute comes because the wordings are all half cooked and all that, you know. So there's a lot of room for dispute. So just put in first. Then let's see how it comes from the pricing and all that.